I have a public service announcement for a select group of individuals. Those are elected officials, largely federal officials, but also state and local. And I want them to be very much aware of the changes in our society. And the term silver tsunami has been used, and it's a little bit questionable, but the power suggested by that phrase is right on the money. The average age in the U.S. is increasing, and as shown here in the population pyramid, as more and more of the baby boomer cohort hits retirement age, we see a widening there as more towards the middle and top of the population pyramid. From a policy perspective, this means more and more policy should be directed toward older adults because they represent a greater share of our population. And in terms of life expectancy, there was a slight decrease in recent years, but the overall trend has been a large increase, and that doesn't even capture all the information. That overall life expectancy of 78 years doesn't really represent everyone because it includes, unfortunately, those who died at an early age. So in this situation, a man who's lived to be age 60 and is not a smoker would have a life expectancy of 84 years. So the life expectancy and the aging is a little more profound than suggested by this slide. In terms of political involvement, the older adults are now the group that votes the most. They're now a group that's very heavily represented and has a lot of political interests. They receive a large portion of social expenditures, so we have to be judicious with that and address issues as appropriately as possible. And they have different views than other age groups, so something to be aware of there. That wasn't always the case. In terms of how to influence elected officials, the older adults can use different measures. The senators and representatives themselves don't make all the policies. They rely on staff members to handle policy initiatives on health, aging, environment, foreign relations, anything. And the senators and representatives are generally middle-aged or older. However, the staff members are generally quite young, much less than middle-aged, and that could mean that staff members have much less personal experiences with issues related to aging. In terms of getting attention of a senator or representative, it's possible to access those individuals in Washington, D.C., but it may be more effective, and different groups may choose to access them through local events and getting involved with local voters because, let's face it, votes matter. The two issues I want to use to highlight this would be medical care and costs for older adults, cost of care, and also Social Security. In terms of medical spending, because of the increased life expectancy, because of other factors, the per capita spending has increased for all income groups. And one of the largest components of that spending is the cost of care. In some cases, the care might be an explicit dollar amount, such as a nursing home. However, in other cases, the cost is implicit, maybe borne by a family member who provides care for older adults. And there's some bad demographic news there in that the percentage of older adults that are divorced has increased significantly over the past 50 years, which means that there's less likely to be a spouse there to care for an older adult if it's needed. In addition, on the bottom of this graphic on the right, it's visible that the number of children born to each U.S. woman in the adults in the U.S. has been decreasing, and that means that there's less likely to be a child there to provide care for an older adult if needed. So if the family members are not going to be there to provide care for adults, who will? That's certainly a factor that elected officials need to consider. At some point, they will need to get something done. Another issue I could mention here that's quite relevant is Social Security, and I'm fairly certain that elected officials are aware of Social Security and the crisis. However, they're failing to act for one reason or another. Effectively, they're pushing back the issue and ignoring it because it's a difficult issue. Social Security Administration has been collecting more taxes from workers, however, they've been paying out much, much more benefits to older adults. Growth in benefit has far exceeded growth in taxes collected, and that's because of that change in the population pyramid that we saw. As a result, we have only about 2.8 workers still working, paying into Social Security for every one retired person receiving benefits, and that situation is only going to get worse. At some point, we as a society have to face this issue, and elected officials need to get something done. As an elected official, if you're unaware of issues that impact older adults, or you lack the foresight to act on such issues, it will cost you your political viability sooner or later. And that's sooner, maybe much sooner than you realize. Thank you.